What are you doing?
Playing a game.
You said you were filming a video while I was going out. Why'd you lie?
I didn't lie, I just changed my mind.
Oh, God.
Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
And this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so we know what that means. It's just black coffee today. It kind of goes with the decor. So I'm trying to even match in beverage. So I hope everybody is well. I hope everybody is safe. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. Take it as a standing recommendation, okay? So today we are going to catch up with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, The Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, The Chantal Show, Foodie Beauty again. So, not unlike last week, this week had some things going on. STD seems to be, the three-pronged thing that's kind of carried last week into this week. So we did talk about that a little bit then, and we'll touch on it some more. A lot of this came out via community posts, which were very prolific this week. There was a lot of community posts, and not much in the way of like freak out rage streams like there often is. They were there, but they weren't as prominent. She was still coming and going with Nader last week, and telling the audience how they should feel about her content too. So into this week, there was a couple turns of phrase she used that I just had to talk about. And there's about 4 or 5 points I centered in on for this. It was a very long week with content and a lot of moving parts. There were some DMs that were revealed about her monthly income or 1 month's income. She had some words for Shannon. I know I'm not going to be able to go into that, but that happened also. There was some like even TOS skirting stuff around that. There was a lot. We're going to start with the idea foreshadowed in the intro of lying versus changing one's mind. Okay. So where this entered their discussion, and there was a post about this, and you'll see it sooner or later. Chantal had, gotten the news that she had, the clap. Whenever she learned it is muddled. When she knew how much she knew and when is in question. But at any rate, she was going to be not talking to Nader, who she's not sure gave it to her. I don't know how she thinks she got it, but he said he didn't cheat, and she knows she didn't, so it must have been like the Immaculate Conception. All of a sudden, she woke up with it. But at any rate, they were invited to a barbecue. Well, she said they were invited to a barbecue. More likely he was, and she drove. And they went to Montreal. So she took some pictures of herself while she was in Montreal. And people are already like, you're back with him. You're back with him after all the shit you said again, after the social disease, all the other stuff, you're back out with him. And she puts up some posts and says, yes, I'm back out with him. This is what I this is what I that. And how she framed it was she didn't lie about withholding information about going to see him. And I'm thinking Montreal is going to be a frequent trip because Ottawa must be bone dry of party favors, if you will. So that trip probably happened, I would guess, for that reason, or at least in part. It flashes me back to when she was making almost daily trips to Montreal and saying, what, a person can't drive that far? Sure they can, but are you? So the idea that she withheld that information and then came clean on it later, but decided that's not a lie, that's just changing my mind. Okay. As far as accountability to ourselves, I suppose, one can lie to oneself. And there's the point of intention, did I mean to deceive people? Did I not mean to deceive people? Is it any more damaging in Chantal's life whether she was deliberately deceptive or just is a flake and changes her mind all the time? Is either one or the other any less damaging to the quality of her life? She makes all the mistakes of a person who's a rotten liar. She has to defend herself constantly in the same way. And then when she chooses not to, people are like, okay, well, we're still convinced you're a liar, so whatever. It's like she doesn't win the argument when she presents her case. And she kind of is resigned to the idea, well, people are going to think what they want anyway. And now that she dropped out the STD, she's like, I told you I had gonorrhea. If I was honest about that, I must be honest about everything else. No, it doesn't. That doesn't mean that at all. That doesn't mean that at all. So, the current truth, my current truth, I'm stealing that. I'm so stealing that. I don't know. Mark?
Yeah.
My current truth.
Yeah.
What's your current truth?
My current truth is, yeah, I like that as well.
I'm fond of that phrase. I'm going to start using it. My current truth. It means I was lying before and I may lie later. But for this moment, I expect you to believe me 100% and not judge it at all. Anybody. At all. There's a comment section, but I don't want comments. God, okay. Do you ever, this is a question for changing my mind versus lying. Have you ever changed your mind in a way that challenges you? Or that puts you in a better place? Like, I changed my mind. Instead of going to Natters, I'm actually going to have my phone therapy appointment this afternoon. Instead of going to Natters and have Lakma, maybe I'll go hang out with my mom, because, her mom died recently. Maybe I'll do something healthier than that. Why is the change of mind always to the behavior that's like, a little more high risk, little more self-serving, little more F you, it's my life. And that's fine if you're like, it's my life, who cares? But when your life is your content, Mark and our lives are pretty much our content. We tell you guys, like, maybe too much, I don't know, but I don't really care. But we have other parts of things that we are interested in too. So there's other aspects of the channel that don't have to do with our personal lives. Her personal life, her sex life, her eating habits, everything is the channel. So maybe YouTube isn't the platform if she's not interested in feedback. And if she does get feedback and deletes it, that just means I don't want to deal with the toxicity, means she can't read the comments. She can't cut through the... People are rude. But some people are just being assertive and making a lot of sense. We have to kind of get over ourselves a little bit too. And this get out of lie free card bullshit, I don't know how many people in your family that worked on, but that's anybody with any sense can see right through that. I don't know how many VIBs would have bought it, but at any rate.
Hey guys.
Hello everyone.
We have a clue for you. All right, so your first clue is... we are somewhere in the United States of America.
That's way too vague. Way too vague.
As opposed to the whole world?
Okay, how about we're in the Eastern time zone?
Eastern time zone in the United States of America.
So, as far as making healthier changes and then changing your mind, it's always at like the expense of somebody else too. Like it hurts somebody. It's always a change of plans, like away from something nice to go hang out with him. I don't like that. Well, obviously I don't like Natter. It bears repeating. I don't like him. I never did. But the interesting part of lying, withholding information at the very least, to not say that you're with him. Well, why? Is it a hassle? Is it embarrassing? Is it something you don't want to deal with the backlash of? I mean, why withhold the information until it's your current truth? I don't think he respects you very much. Like, I really don't, honestly. And that's, he's just being an asshole. That's not him being dominant. I know she said she likes a dominant man and maybe dominant in bed, and I can't even fathom what that looks like. I know. I'm officially, there goes my last shred of heterosexuality. But, and that's off color, I'm sorry. But I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get the appeal. And I've lived very bad lifestyles periodically. I've dated bad people for me. I've stayed at houses I shouldn't have stayed at. I've, put myself in these situations. I was never coerced and dragged into a crack house. I never just woke up and found myself in one. We have like the ability to make choices. We don't have to, find ourselves in these horrible positions and act like we don't know how it happened, or we're helpless over it. Even this love thing, I still have love for him, even though we're not together, and I think he lied to me because he lied about getting gonorrhea. Oh, he didn't lie. He just changed his mind about telling you what happened. Good for the goose, good for the gander. Sorry, honey. So, anyway, yeah, I really don't think he respects you. And this whole STD thing, like, I don't think he cares if you're sick at all. I think it's weird that it seems like it's like something you share together. Like, that's odd too. But I still think he thinks of Chantal as like an ATM with 3 points of entry, which I think is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. So, the lip. The lip thing. It's so not what she says it is. Okay. So this conspicuous mark appears on her lip, right about here. I guess it would be on this side. And Chantal's original story was that she was trying to clean up her mustache, and she has facial hair issues, but she usually deals with it. She has an electronic device that she usually goes all over her face with and down here in the chin and whatnot. And then I imagine she would go over her lip with it. Somehow she found herself in a position where I guess she had like a straight razor or like a men's box razor and then tried to shave her lip. There's no. It's a burn. To me, it's a burn. At the worst, it's a skin eruption triggered by something I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on with her. I'm not a dermatologist, but yeah, so the only way I could possibly see her doing that with the razor, I've shaved my face almost every day, sometimes every other day, for 25 years. And I've had a lot of razor burn. And I've shaved with dull razors, and I've shaved with no shaving cream. I mean, I would have to have the dullest razor, zero lubrication, and no water to make a cut that looked like that. Now, I have, in my sordid past, smoked a few things out of glass pipes. Life is life. You make better choices when you know better. That takes a while. But having said that, pipes get hot. And when hot things are near your mouth, they burn. And if you're holding said instrument and it gets hot, like it did with me, and I coughed because I was holding a hot instrument that close to my mouth, taking more than my share, puff, puff, pass, burned, coughed, pulled it back, burned, the shit went flying, and I had a burn on my face, lo and behold. And it looked very, very similar. Now, we are not the same person. We are not the same people. I know burns look different in Canada or something. There's probably some reason why it's not the same. But that's what it looked like. And she seemed to have pretty much like no shame in her game and kind of wrote it off. But she slipped a couple times and called it a burn. People were suggesting, is it herpes or something? I'm inclined to say no, because I've seen some cases of herpes. But again, I'm not a doctor. And I'm going to say, like, not really. She's phoned in the whole thing in. Can I get a prescription? Can you do this? Can you do that? Blah, blah, blah. I don't think she's taking it very seriously. And she was kind of like snotty about it a little bit. She was in one of the lives and she was asking a lot of questions about, well, what is it? Well, how do you get it? How do you think you get it? Dirty underwear. Apparently she believed that from him and went out and got all this Vagisil and shit to keep herself clean. But she had no idea of this. And she was like, well, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever had an STD. I don't know. That's the reason you have the STD, is because you don't know anything about STDs. Because you don't know how they're transmitted or how to take care of yourself or prepare yourself. Or you did know and decided you changed your mind. You didn't need protection at that moment. That was your moment of truth right then. Go ahead anyway. And then we have gonorrhea. So, it's not something to be like, this is the first time it's happened to me. It's happening because of poor choices. You weren't struck by lightning. Neither was he. These things there's very clear paths that Centers for Disease Controls and other agencies in other countries to track social diseases between people. This isn't dirty toilet seats. They're not going Burger King to Burger King with the hazmat suits. So maybe they should, but they haven't been. So that was all her version of events, the cutting it with the lip thing. Told you I burned myself. It looked about the exact same. So sometimes her future truth will be different than her current truth. And then she'll tell us what happened to her past truth and how that was not she was not lying then, it was just her truth then. But then if her future truth doesn't match the present truth, that's not going to be a lie then. Just because I tell you later I'm going to post this video and I don't put it up till Monday, that's not a lie. I just changed my mind. Now, I know you had an investment in that bit of truth I was telling you, but you have to understand, it wasn't intentional. I just blew you off and didn't explain. I changed my mind without informing the other person who's part of the bargain. The bargain is I'll make you content, and here's a time when you can come see it. And on her end of things, she's doing lives. So here's where I'll show up, and here's where you can all talk to me for $5. And, and that's, I don't get it. We'll talk about the VIBs in a second. So, I'm still stealing current truth. I think it's a riot. All right, the STD fallout, which I just spoke a little bit about. So having the clap. She said she found out on a phone call that she got from a doctor on Thanksgiving night, the eve of Thanksgiving, Sunday night, Monday night. Personally, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. I mean, obviously, American healthcare is, I wouldn't have gotten one here from my doctor at all on a holiday, especially on a holiday. I find it peculiar, impossible. I'm not Canadian. It sounds unlikely to me that that's when it came up. They wouldn't phone in the results to her before, and they wouldn't tell her. They made her go in to try to get it. And then she was dilly-dallying and oh, I have to go in. Oh, the line was long. Oh, I didn't get tested. And she hasn't, as far as anyone knows, gone for her blood work for the other STDs she could have gotten, like HIV or anything else. And she's made it very clear when we show you the long list of community posts that she put up that not only is it nobody's business if and when she goes, she will not be telling anyone the results. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to. But when you've built your content on your medical records and your shitty relationship, people are going to ask questions about your medical records and your shitty relationship. There's nothing else going on. There's nothing else going on that channel. There's a few pumpkin things in the last couple days, but that's just to cool your feet while the rest of this shit boils over. People don't forget. People don't forget. Remember when you like threatened to call CYS on somebody? People don't forget. They don't. So... she knew all the medications. So with the STD fallout, she was doing a live and she had the pills, of course, covering the pill bottles. And she was going to get two 1 times. So it's a 2-time thing. And then a series of, Cipro, I think, afterwards. It's the stuff they give you to treat. I've had it before. It's an antibiotic. It's not bad. It doesn't tear you up. And she had a few days worth of treatment with it after that. Now, did she go get all that? Did they call it into the pharmacy? Or did she just know what Nader was getting and look at his empty pill bottles and say, oh, I'm getting all this too? And she's not really being treated. I don't know. I don't know. But she knew with the STD, she knew the day that she let him off at the pharmacy that he had something going on. She knew there was something odd looking about his area. She let him out of the pharmacy to go get the medication. She knew what it was for. And in that car ride, and a viewer pointed this out, and it was so obvious, I felt stupid about missing it. The whole reason he was screaming at her was not about, according to her, was not about gonorrhea or anything like that. It was about him wanting to sit in on her therapy session. So she didn't really seem to care about the disease at the moment. She seemed to care more about him getting mad at her, and then dumped all of this on the drive home when she was talking about how sick he was and how he got this and maybe he got that. You forget that when you talk shit on the person you're sleeping with and they have an STD, it might be you too. Just to be safe. So she knew he had something. So when did she know she had something? And then what did she do about it, if anything? Chantal leaves out stuff because she changes her mind, I guess, a lot. So I'm uncertain. I don't know. She puts off taking care of things so much. I would hate to think she'd put off something that can escalate really fast. really, really fast. And she's not in the peak of health. Losing 60 pounds because you were doing hard drugs. When you trade off the benefit of losing 60 pounds or 70 pounds with hard drugs, hard lifestyle, polysubstance use, bad sleep, the food you're eating is crap, I know Nader cooks you good food. So that's reason enough to... somehow, whenever she gets mad, she'll be like, but he's so nice and he'll cook for me and make me healthy food. So what? So what? You're telling me there's not a nice guy in the greater Ottawa metropolitan area who has a generous appendage, a big floppy pancreas, thank you, Dorothy, um, and has a job, maybe, and can drive to come see you, and is good in bed, and can cook, and does not live in the middle of a not so nice area where you don't have to dump at least half your money on him to keep him. Cut off the purse strings and see if he hangs around. If he does, maybe reattach them. Maybe he likes you anyway. But it doesn't seem sincere. The whole thing seems like she's just put things in place to make it feel like it's a relationship. You know, he's kind of like, I get the impression, because I know guys like him, but I also kind of know girls like her. Like, bottom line, she's way more into him than he's into her. If he says as much as hello, her heart skips a beat, you know, and I don't think he's actually, like I said, I don't think he respects her very much, because what respectable person would let another person do all this to them? You know, I don't think he'd go for it. He wouldn't want a woman who'd stand up to him, but he also doesn't respect a woman who would do all this for him either. He might like her being there, but I don't think he thinks very much of her, which she doesn't deserve that either. You know, Chantal's a human being, flawed. Many of us are flawed. Her flaws are more glaring, and she makes a living off of them. So she's in a different space than the rest of us. When she says, what, you never did anything wrong? Of course I've done things wrong. I've done probably more wrong than right, and that's a lot of us. But we don't broadcast it, and we don't charge people $5 a month to hear about it. So it's different. We didn't turn our life into entertainment as such. So, and she's not doing pre-taped videos of like, this is cooking, or even the mukbanging. None of it. None of it. So, yeah, ignorant about how sexual things works. People in the lives ask her questions, and she gets mad. And she gets mad, and she gets mad, and she gets mad. So after the whole going on the Thanksgiving weekendy thing, she was going to Montreal with friends, suddenly, in the evening, because she just changed her mind. And she ended up going with Natter, and they hung out in Montreal, and they came back. Okay. And people were pissed. She put up, this is where you're going to see a lot of the community posts. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. We'll show you all those. You've probably seen a lot of them. They've been out this week. There's some other channels that have them honestly cut short together. But we'll insert this here just to give you an idea of the pace at which this came, about how she was telling her truth, and then she didn't want to be judged for it, and then she got some nasty feedback from the chat, and then decided she was going to tell people in the chat how to act and how to feel, and then it got worse and worse and worse. So we'll leave that here for you to see. So as you can see, she had a lot to say. And then, of course, it all, like, disappeared. So, again, you can find probably some other reactors who have just those concise if you want to check them out. I think Just Saying had them, Barbecue Chicken. There's some other folks who did. So you can take a look at those. But the threats and the, I won't do this, I won't do that. Oh, no. Maybe I'll just do lives. Or maybe I'll just do videos now. No lives, no interaction. If that's going to be your attitude, I can't stand the toxic people in this chat. The one chat was at night that she was doing. It's one of her late night, you know, get high and at everybody kind of things. And she was acting, I think, a little higher or more tired than she was, because the chat was giving her shit. It was right when she got back from Montreal weekend with Doofus, and people were like, what's the matter with you? What is wrong with you? And the chat was too hostile and too toxic for her to be there. Where are you going to find, if the people who pay you because they like you are still critical of your choices, where are you going to find a supportive group of people? You can't even buy one, apparently. So take that into consideration when choices are being made. You know, we all have our communities of people. I don't know how tight her circle is in real life. But if the people that you usually listen to and have support you, if you start blocking them out by the hundreds, because, you know, we don't have to live by others' choices. But if we put our choices out there and 1,000 people say, sounds like a good idea, roll with that, let us know how it goes, and one person says maybe not, well, maybe go with it. You have another set of eyes on it. But the idea that you are only trusting your judgment before making these decisions is a very, very bad idea, because one of the things that I think is most dangerous is her impulsivity. is that she'll do this, change her mind, do something else, change her mind. Mixed in with that is actual mistruths presented as changing my mind. You know, it's a cop-out to try to get out of it. So, I don't know. But no videos, only lives. That's what we're going to be getting more of still. She's not going to get rid of doing these live drama streams, especially if you saw the screenshots of the DMs. I think it was Negs who had done they did the panel together, and he had shared that she sent with him $12K she had made last month. You know, okay, first of all, I don't know if I can make $12,000 worth of drama in a month. I don't think I have it in me. But that's very tempting, I would assume, to her to just keep it up. I mean, it was worth mentioning. She said she was very proud of that amount of money, and YouTube's her job, and that's fine. It's fine for her to be. People live off YouTube. It's a thing people do. You know, people are creators by trade. So I don't begrudge her for having a job, or doing even well at her job. But she's not going to be creating anything in the future. It's just going to be doing stuff for his channel, keeping it on the low, late night high streams. Like, this doesn't have a retirement plan. You know, Chantal acts like a teenager, but she's almost 40, you know, and you can pass judgment on that. I sure do. But at the same time, no one's like, this is it. This is it. She's got a camera and a debit card. And that's it. If both of those broke, she'd be screwed. So I don't know. What's coming up next? Maybe some more outrage? More outrage means more money. More drama means more videos, more action on her channel. All those community posts that you guys had seen, there was like hundreds of comments on each, and she had gone back and deleted a bunch on them too as they continued. So I don't necessarily think she took a few days off, and now she's doing some safe content. So YouTube time, like 4 days, is years and years and years. There's still people that remember really far back things that she had done or said, or other YouTubers do or say. But in YouTube time, things feel further apart sometimes than they are. So, like, you know, the Nazi salute she did a few weeks ago, some people probably don't even remember it anymore. But that wasn't that long ago. You know, but in YouTube time, it's so weird how things get so close together. So now we're back to Vlogtober again, somehow. It was canceled on day 2, and now we're at pumpkins and haunted drive-thrus and things like that. That's stuff I like. It's nice, it's wholesome, it doesn't get the views. She's not going to keep them up. It doesn't get the views. It doesn't get the drama that the other stuff gets. It's unfortunate that she has to do this. I mean, obviously she has a choice. She doesn't have to. But if she's put herself in the position where her most valuable skill is lying to thousands of people, or manipulating them, or just embarrassing herself in front of them for money, is what her skill is now. You know, that's it. And if she lost her channel, what a blow to the culture. I don't know. Bottom line, I don't know. Mark? Yeah? Could you come in here, please? Yeah. Thanks.
Hey guys. Hey, we have clue number 2 for you. The state that we're in, probably the most famous lady in the world resides at. Lady Gaga? What? Oh, Lord.
Come hither, come hither.
Yes.
Y'all know Mark.
Howdy, everybody.
So, Mark, we've been reviewing this shit show for, you know, well, years at this point. But as going into this week, there was this, I'm going to say, I'm totally going to steal the whole thing if I change my mind. I didn't lie. Get ready for it.
Okay.
It's coming all the time now.
Okay.
So we explore through that, talked a little bit more about her and Nader and STDs and honesty versus lying, and all of a sudden it's Vlogtober again. Like, none of this happened. Now we're just stabbing pumpkins. Yeah. And all that stuff. So do you have any thoughts as to what's going on this week? Because she did have that little burn too.
Yeah. The burn. The infamous burn.
Razor burn?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you know, I was thinking, you know, I did want to say something today, and I was thinking, well, what do I want to say? Because, you know, I mean, it's just a lot of the same stuff over and over again. But, you know, I do think that this week, again, we've gotten away from, like, the attention hasn't been on the obvious drug use that is continuing to happen here.
Which fuels, I
Which
think,
fuels
a lot of
everything, all of this. It is no surprise to me at all. The burn, the STD, the lying, the denial, the rational. It is no surprise to me that all this is happening. You know, I try to put things in context without being judgmental or mean. You know, I try to do that. I do work in this profession, and I do see folks like her every day, you know. The difference being is that she does not have support. She does not have help. She's not seeking help, you know, and she's just kind of rolling along with all of this right now.
Yeah, she's just gonna kind of see where it goes.
Right, you know. But I jotted some notes down here that stuck out to me this week, and the one, and I'm going to bring it up and then I'll put it into context. So the one video, I think it was pretty recent. I don't know if it was actually the pumpkin carving one or not. I didn't write down what video it was. But in the video, you know, she pulls her shirt up over her nose and laughs, and because BBJ has poop on his butt and is sitting right on the counter right behind her. Okay, so there's that. Now that falls into like behaviors, okay, on her part. It, you know, doesn't clean it up. It doesn't surprise me that she didn't clean it up. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and
it ain't the only place in the house.
Exactly. you know. Last week there was cat poop on the stairs. You know, it's you know, you put together all of this, the pupils and the erratic behavior, along with poor hygiene.
Yeah,
it's blatantly obvious, you know, that she has poor hygiene as well. You know, you want to put all that together, you know, it shows, it does show a side. So, okay, in one video, she's super hyper, right? She can't complete a sentence. She can't focus on what she's doing. She says she's in a weird mood, you know, and it's very hard to follow along. In the next one, I'm so tired. You can barely understand what she's saying, and then she decides to go exercise. Okay, and she does. She does this thing with the view, like that. It was something else, right? And she still hasn't slept at all. So you know, you want to put all of these together along with her mood swings, right? Her we'll call them decision swings.
Yeah.
Decision swings, energy swings, the pupils, the poor hygiene, the behaviors as far as like cleanliness in her house, you know, and
her environment,
and you know, the fact that she you know, is saying this like she doesn't understand where this STD came from, you know, the denial that he obviously gave it to her.
Yeah.
Now, I have one thing to say. I try to put this into context. Okay, we have to keep in mind that we're only going on what she's telling us, right? Yeah. Could it be that she did, you know, cheat on him? Was she with somebody else, right?
She cheated on the last two boyfriends.
Exactly. Is there a sliver of truth that possibly could be out there that he did not give this to her?
Or is it not cheating because they're just friends?
Right.
And they've never been together.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. Okay.
Is it just some guy that she's banging somebody else?
Right. We only know what she tells us.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to go on whenever we're talking about her, you know? I believe that he gave it to her. I believe that she is in complete denial about it. I can't understand if what she is telling us is true, that there wouldn't have been some type of confrontation or a break off of this relationship. There was, then there wasn't. Turns out they're back together. He's a nice guy. I don't know how this happened. Come on. All of this stuff, the erratic behavior. She looks dead behind the eyes now.
Mm-hmm.
That is a sure sign that this is progressing just as it progresses with any other person with a substance use disorder. This is what's happening. How long can this go on? Well, it could go on for a little longer, but it's not going to go on much longer. Like, it's not,
No.
we're not going to be talking about this 2 years from now, unfortunately,
No.
Something is going to happen, and unfortunately, it's going to be bad for her. It's going to be bad. My only advice, you got to get your shit together. You got to take some kind of action, okay? I do not believe anything about the doctor calling her on Canadian Thanksgiving, all of that. What, is she that special? Well, she is Foodie Beauty. Maybe she is that special.
They wouldn't even call him in over the phone earlier, though. Oh, yeah, she is special. The whole goddamn... She kept Nashies alive.
I know, right? I know.
She coined Nashies, for Christ's sake.
Unbelievable. But,
well, we all have to
she has to ask for help. She has to take some action, and she needs to get help. I'm like, removing myself and coming at it just as a professional person. I'm extremely concerned of where she's at right now. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I see it every day. This is the natural progression. Coming up, look at her eyes. She's dead behind the eyes.
Kind of like the Kardashians, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you for your input.
You're welcome. Sorry I didn't have more, but I see it every day, and it's hard.
It's hard
to do this on a Saturday because I need a break from it, But
I see it too.
But we have kind of a vested interest in this,
because she's a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll. So I mean,
that's one way of putting it.
I see the same, but it's so ingrained.
Yeah.
For all her behaviors, putting down the pipe is a start.
It's just a start.
It's not the last thing you need to do. It's the first thing you need to do. The rest comes after.
She has another journey ahead of her, hopefully, and it's going to be much different. You remove the drugs from this situation, this whole thing would look way different.
Mm-hmm.
Way, way different. So, and I don't know. Get some help, girl, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Mark. So, where do we go from here? I don't know. Considering that, let's go from the money-making perspective, because that seems to be the bottom line, as YouTube is her job. If last month she made about $12K, off of shock, awe, disgust, the usuals, more outrage would seem to do that. I mean, what do we have next? Does Nader have a child out there we don't know about? Is she gonna go get liposuction or a gastric bypass? All these things that have been gaslighted. Who knows? Or is it going to just be wholesome vlog? I don't think so, because payday is... What's today, the 16th?
Coming up!
4 or 5 days. My current truth. I'm getting spit roasted by 2 crackheads. Anyway, so stay tuned to her channel. Stay tuned here. We'll try to keep on top of it. There's a lot of content. And I have to be honest with you, she was not my favorite person today. I'm lukewarm on Chantal. I don't dislike her. Her decisions are maddening. I know, if you don't like it, don't watch. But it makes for good discussion. Chantal's not the only person in the world with a fucked up life. But she's putting it on YouTube, and it's fair game. So I'm happy to share my comments and thoughts as well. So thank you for watching. Share your comments and thoughts below. Please do subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get all the alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and our contact information is all listed below as well. Thank you again, and we will be going live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for our regular Sunday night live. We missed it last week. We went live on Thursday of this week. Actually, go check that out. There's some information there about Foodie Beauty, too, in the chat that we had. So feel free to check that out as well. Thank you for watching, and we will catch up with you all tomorrow. Bye. Say goodbye, Mark.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.